January the 27th, 2026. Guys, you are looking at Levi Stadium. This is in Santa Clara, California. This picture, and you're seeing the Customs and Border Patrol helicopter flying there, is from 2016. It was funded in 2012, if I'm not mistaken. Finished construction in 2014, and that was during Governor Jerry Brown's time as governor there. Anyway, correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's pretty close. And back then, in 2016, Trump was just coming into office, and they were doing this in advance of Super Bowl 50. And that's what the helicopter was for. It was kind of for a different reason. They were worried about terrorist plots, bombs inside, things like that, or attacks. And again, same group of people, the Border Patrol, and now you're adding ICE, is going to be there in, let's see, February the 6th would be about, 9 days or so for Super Bowl 60, 10 years after this image. Now, it's the most hideous looking building or creation I've ever seen. And I don't know if Brown was in, the governor at that time was in on the grift as much as Newsom is, but it looks like it was constructed by a bunch of drunks coming across the border, working cheap, and the politicians taking the money. But is that the most hideous thing you've ever seen, guys? Look at that. And I looked up the firm that built it, the design firm, and they're in Kansas City, I think, Missouri, and their building is worse than this. And so someone took a lot of money of all of them. It took nearly $2 billion, I think, to build it. And so someone took a lot of money because this thing, it looks like one of those videos you see on YouTube where they're working on a construction site and they're on top and it all falls over. That's what it looks like, but it looks like someone tried to go in on the cheap, take advantage of the grift, and give you the most ugly. It looks like a bunch of oil rigs stacked there. Anyway, enough of that. But on February the 6th, Super Bowl 60 will be there. Who else is going to be there? It looks like Greg Bovino has been moved from Minnesota back to Southern California. And ICE and Border Patrol will have a different job because they announced it today, and they've been talking about it. And Trump came out, I think I mentioned it in a video, saying that he would not attend this Super Bowl because of the libtarded halftime. You've got the band called Green Day, I think, that they do the same chant that Antifa does on F, ICE, and all that on stage. Guys, can you believe that? Anyway, and then Bad Bunny, who wants to wear a dress. Trump said, hell no, not doing it. And now you got Tom Homan and other people inside of ICE and Border Patrol that are saying this will be heavily monitored. They're saying just because it's a Super Bowl, no space in the U.S. is safe for illegal immigrants or criminals. So I remember, let me just say this, back when Trump was first running on his first term, he came to Jackson, Mississippi, and Nigel Farage, anybody that went to that, one of the first political rallies. Nigel Farage was there and Trump. And the security was very thorough. It was polite, but very thorough on everything. You were scanned. I mean, you wasn't coming in there with anything. I came in with a couple of extra T-shirts and baseball hats, but Tina had a little keychain thing of pepper spray. They confiscated that. Now, that was, to protect the potential presidential nominee. And so you're going to see people like Gavin Newsom and the other leaders of that state and their outside influencers, which China and the cartels are major influencers, really throw a fit about this because it's a major money maker. I looked up the list of like the packets for the different places and the different things you can do there, and I'll get the tickets. Averages about $7,500. Where are they getting the money? I mean, I know the big people have it, and I know that they used to put it on their credit card and take them a year to pay it off, but the banks have really gotten tight, and then there's a lot of illegal grifting going on from this game. It's a major money maker for the Newsom administration. What do they do with their money? They grift it and promote the Democratic Party and pocket a lot of it. But if Trump now and Holman are talking about this will be heavily populated by ICE, will it be at the gates? They haven't said. But just think about that. And there's going to be some really upset people that think they're going to get away with everything and then spent $7,500 on a package. I think that's, maybe per person, and get arrested at the gate. So that's going to create a second conflict. Okay, it's like, kids, you're not going to let me have the football. We're just going to tear everything down. And so will it start to become, or just fake call-ins of a bomb threat or something like that, something to disrupt the entire event since they can't have their way? And how will it affect ticket sales from here? Again, February the 6th. Not many days away, 9, I think. I haven't looked at the calendar exactly. Now, again, you're going to have the threat. They know, and Trump has really never lied, or Holman, that I know of. And again, you got Bovino there now. And so how intense will it be? How will it affect ticket sales? And how will it affect the resistance? Will there be protests all through the parking lots, all through the city? I won't watch the game because it's been corrupt for so long. And the halftimes has ruined it. And now we're starting to see the corruption in betting from the NBA to here, and possibly, it looks like, in some of the college playoff games. So it's not worth, I wouldn't promote it for anything. I haven't kept up with an NFL team in years, don't care to. But this is going to be a conflict point. I think the next major flashpoint besides Minneapolis. And this is one side of Levi Stadium. Again, it looks like a cheap apartment building propped up on the sewer coming out of Mexico. I'm just saying, my God, what has happened? Remember the stadiums, Wrigley Stadium, the great stadiums at Green Bay, all those stadiums that were big, round like the Coliseums. They had some pride in their infrastructure. They just had to expand and update. But look at this. It's hideous. A prison wall to keep out the zombies with a sewer moat. I don't know what. Anyway, I think it was done cheaply because of grift. Now, I think it holds a lot of people. I think it's maxed out at 60 or maybe 80,000 during a music concert. But it's very tight, very held, very tight. I guess that's the best way to say it. And it would take a long time for people to get in and out. And so it's like the theory that I've always talked about, and many other people have too, is they would rather burn it down than lose it. So we got the conflict of the protest that we will see across the city, especially, and they're going to have to put up barricades in the parking lots and things like that. The protest of ICE and Border Patrol being there, and because of that, the internal threats of some kind of attack. Again, I don't want to make it much longer than this, but just think about what I'm talking about. For my friends in that area, it would be a disaster. And I don't think many of you would even consider going. I don't think you would. But look for it to be a flashpoint. Look for, because again, they're going to fight. It's like when what we're seeing in Minneapolis. They'll identify a certain ICE agent or Border Patrol agent. They will follow them. They will dox them. They will try to terrify them in either the hotel or their residence. And so what's going to happen here? And since Bovino and his group now are coming here, will they be followed and doxed? And I found out today something I didn't know, that because of certain governors in libtarded states, that this Signal chat group that seems to be kind of like Antifa, they have access to all of our driving records, our license plate information from the Department of Motor Vehicles. Think about that. Somehow that's leaked to them so they can take a phone shot of what they think is an ICE vehicle in a arrest process or whatever, and immediately get all the data on that person. And then they send it through their Signal network to everyone. And how do they get that access? I mean, the police do it, but these people have it, and they get all the information immediately. And then they terrorize the people they had the information on. And then they can spot them from miles away because they've taken pictures of the vehicles, the tag, and everything else. And then they start blowing the whistles, getting on Signal, and sending out the reports to everyone to come into that area. And what I think we're going to see is all of that on a super massive scale. Because what Trump said, now we see $100 billion fraud in Minnesota. But California is worse than that, so they have more to lose, and they are China and cartel controlled. Again, guys, we're watching it. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.